Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20, breaks free to the 25 to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, like that page as well. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. Watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it. And that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, please don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app. Come on, baby. What's wrong with you? Here's what you do. Wherever you get your apps from, it doesn't matter whether it's iTunes or Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth, Webolts, Gold Blast. It doesn't matter where you get your apps from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. You take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channels. If you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your television. Okay, put us there next to the big boys. Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Prime, Apple Plus, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars. Man, Raising Kanan episode 2 was crazy. But I digress. Put us there. Download us to your TV. Put us on the big screen. Hell, run a big screen right, Mickey Ficky. Now you can also tweet the show. Tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. Want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Man, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook or a mobile app, Facebook, YouTube, or our mobile app, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on our screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you, baby. So bring them all questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's check out the chat. Start off the show. Cornelius Squall checking in. What up, what up, what up? Sports owners. Yes, Michelle Walls. What up on a House Music Monday on St. Patrick's Day? Yes, Michelle, that's damn right. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr., he's in the house. Let's go, he said. What's up, Junior? My man's in them. But listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. That I know. I don't know a lot about a lot. That I know. Man, we got a good show at 9:30. It's the bottom of the hour. My man Evan Altman, editor-in-chief from CubsInsider.com, is going to join us. We're going to talk all things Cubs. So, Cub fans, don't ever say I don't talk about your team. I don't ever cover your team. I do. And Evan's one of my favorite Cub personalities or reporters. Knows the shit, and he's a huge Wu-Tang Clan fan. So, so he'll be out at 9:30 talking Cubs. And as they prepare for the Tokyo series, which begins tomorrow, they've had a couple of exhibition games to this point. We're going to talk about that, what he sees there. Then it comes after the 2 games, they come right back, and they're back into spring training. So it's kind of weird. 2 games, they start the regular season, then they go back to spring training before they have their opener. I don't know. It's very weird. Very weird. I don't know what, but we're going to talk to Evan Altman about it at 9:30. Then we got some NCAA hoops to talk. They had Selection Sunday yesterday. So if you missed it, Lakina McGee and Sydney Brown did a show here on Sports Zone Chicago, their annual selection show committee. Their selection show, the NCAA selection show they did yesterday. So you can go back and check that out on our YouTube channel and, root for your team, see where they have your team falling in the bracket. Brandon Stretch checking in. Good morning, Papa. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So, yeah, check out Sports Zone Chicago's NC College Basketball Selection Show with Lakina McGee and Sydney Brown. They did that yesterday. After the brackets were revealed. So, yeah. And they'll be on later today, 12:15. In addition to you checking out their selection show. They'll be on today at 12:15. So let's not forget that. Give them a chance to entertain you for 2 hours talking all Chicago sports. Yvette Lee just checked in. Good morning, Ma. How are you? She says, Happy House Music Monday, y'all. Yes. Guys, I hope you had a good weekend. I did. I had a ghetto fabulous weekend all day long this weekend. Rick Gonzalez checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? He says, good morning, Shawn. Everybody in the chat. Bear the F down. Bear down, baby. Bear down. Yeah, I went to the Mary J. Blige concert on Friday. That was awesome. Ghetto fabulous, like a mother hubbard, and I was all for it. Everybody had their Mary boots, their over-the-knee boots. It was crazy. The outfits were in full effect because it was warm as hell on Friday night. It was really warm. You walk back to Output. I had a jacket, but I wouldn't wear it in the concert, obviously. And we walked back, and I didn't wear it on the way back. I carried my light jacket as we walked back to Output. That shit was crazy. And then Saturday, we went to R&B only. It was R&B shows. He had a DJ at the Aragon, and it was crazy. It was just straight up R&B. Straight up R&B. More ghetto fabulous in the house. It was awesome. So a lot of alcohol was consumed this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're wondering, that's why I'm still a little raspy. Yeah. And someone commented, I shaved my goatee. So I was shaving it in on Saturday. And I went too far. I went too far on here, right here. I went too far. I was like, oh, shit. Try to clean it up because this was all smooth. And I went too far here and took off too much. I'm like, All right, we got to take it all off. So I took it all off before we went out. Yeah. But Shawn says a clean-shaven SuperBack. Yes, sir, Bob. Yes, sir, Bob. But hey, you know what, guys? Let's get it cracking. Guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
First top of the morning topic. Baby. Our White Sox. Yes. Our White Sox laid the smackdown on the candy asses of the Texas Rangers, or Tetas Rangers. Hope you guys know what I'm talking about. Wilson got the start. He got no decision, 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 5 punch-outs. But I'm seeing a lot from the starting pitching for the White Sox is not a lot of walks, which is imperative that they avoid giving up free passes this year. Stay away from that. It's a recipe for disaster. Matan was 2 for 4 with a double, his first. Also hit a home run, his third of the year, driving in his 4th RBI of the season. Gray was 1 for 4 with a homer, his second of the spring, driving in his 5th and 6th runs of the spring. And Tice 3 for 4, 2 doubles, his 3rd and 4th of the spring, and drove in his 1st and 2nd RBIs of the springtime. Staying with the White Sox. The next top of the morning topic today, the White Sox host the Giants at Camelback Ranch. First pitch is at 3:05 Central. You can catch that game at ESPN 1000. All right, the White Sox made one more move. The White Sox, in a very surprising move, they named Shawn Burke as their opening day starter. This is a shock to a lot of people. Burke only has four career outings, gets the opening day nod. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. March 27th, so that'll be 2 weeks from Thursday. Yeah. No, a week from Thursday. Damn, next week? Jeez. Damn, what's that? That was fat. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's wow. I didn't even realize it's next week. That's nutso. I thought it was 2 weeks. Man, time flies. Woo-wee. That's craziness. That's crazy talk. But you know what? Let's keep it going. Next topic, on top of the Cubs. The Cubs beat the Yomiuri Giants yesterday, 4-2. Jameson Tyone, he got the start, no decision, 4 in the 3rd inning, 4 hits, 1 earned run. That was their last tune-up before they start the Tokyo series. And the next top of the morning topic, we're going to talk about that, is tomorrow. The Cubs do open the regular season against the Dodgers at the Tokyo Dome for the Tokyo series. First pitch is at 5:10 a.m. You can catch that game on the Marquee Network. Also, it will be on Fox 32. You can listen to it on their flagship station, 6:70 a.m. Yamamoto is on the bump for the Dodgers, while Shota Imanaga is on the bump for the Cubs. Crazy. 5:10 a.m. 5 times. 5:10, baby. Woo. 5:10. Mr. Shorty, top of the morning to you too as well. Well, the phrase goes, the first person says top of the morning to you, and the other person says, and the best of the rest of the day to you. That's how that interaction goes. Yes. Good to see you, Shorty. I appreciate you, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. Oh. Wow, Shorty, I am so sorry. My last remaining grandmother passed away last week. I've been out of commission. Shorty, my condolences, Papa. Wow. Both within 3 weeks of each other. That's crazy. Wow. Wow. Again, my condolences to you and the family. That's got to be unbelievably hectic and crazy, dude. Damn. Well, let's keep it moving a little bit. Next top of the morning topic, the Bulls, baby. Only the Bulls on Saturday. The Bulls. Only the Bulls. Bulls fall. We fell to the Houston Rockets. What? They didn't fall 177. The hell is that? When you got fat fingers, you do some silly stuff. The Bulls fell to the Houston Rockets 117 to 114. Kobe White led the way with 23 points. Trey Jones added 19 in the losing effort. Nikola Vucevic, 15 points, 7 boards, and the rookie, the youngster, Matas Bucelis, added 10 points in the losing cause. Well, no rest for the weary. Tonight, the Bulls host the Utah Jazz at the United Center. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sportsnet or listen to it on their flagship station, 670 a.m. The next top of the morning topic, also on Saturday, Blackhawks. Blackhawks fell to the Vancouver Canucks 6-2. Soderblom stopped 15 shots. Only 15. That's crazy. Vlasic lit the lamp for the 4th time this year for the Hawks. Kaiser, 4th lamp lighter as well. Donato assisted on both goals, his 27th and 28th of the season. Teravainen notched his 37th helper, while Levshunov tallied his first assist of the season. Tomorrow, the Blackhawks host the Seattle Kraken. Release the Kraken! At the United Center. Puck drop at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. You can catch that game on Chicago Sportsnet or listen to it on their flagship station, 7:20 a.m. Blackhawks are it's a tough goal for them. I don't know how to. Blackhawks again. It's tough for the Blackhawks. They're in a weird spot right now. But NCAA, next top of the morning topic. NCAA tournament was released yesterday. The brackets, bracketology. The brackets were released yesterday. Let me tell you something. A lot of people, there were some happy people, and there were some very, very disappointed and upset people. Crazy. Some people were really pissed off. and most of them live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The 4 number 1 seeds in the Midwest region, the University of Houston. All right, Houston has the number 1 overall seed for the 3rd consecutive year. Can they win it? We'll find out. But they're coming out of the Midwest. The East region, Duke and Cooper Flagg, who was injured with a sprained ankle. They have the number 1 seed in the East. In the South region, number 1 seed is Auburn. And in the West region, Florida is the number 1 seed there. So these 4 number 1 seeds, man, this is a good one. One heck of a tournament. Houston is the favorite. The favored. But Cooper Flagg and Duke have a long way to go. I mean, are on their tails, I should say. The thing about that is, how well will Cooper Flagg be? He missed the last 2 games of the ACC tournament because of a sprained ankle. They said he will be ready. It's John Shire, Chicagoland's very own, who's now the head coach at Duke after succeeding Mike Krzyzewski. But Cooper Flagg, the all-world, all-everything, should be okay, is what they're saying. We'll find out. Again, Auburn and Florida, the other 2 top-seeded teams in the tournament. It's going to be fun. Be a lot of fun. Remember, Friday, they have the blackout day with the Smoke Fellas over at Eduardo Lamone's. I'll get the address for you. It's all day. It's hooky day. Thursday and Friday is going to be nutso. I remember when I was teaching and the first weekend of the tournament would come up, we'd always put it on TV. And even in class, well, it was easy for me because I had PE. We made it seem like it was important. But it was for us. But, you always had the one administrator who's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And minutes of instruction are extremely valuable. All right. Always had that one administrator. Always. Let's see. Miss Shawn, yes, they did. Michigan got screwed. They beat a whole bunch of teams throughout the season. They won the NCAA, their Big Ten tournament, and they're still ranked lower than a few teams that they beat recently this season. I don't know what the NCAA tournament was looking at when they decided that. They got the big break out the ice cube, no Vaseline on that one for them. I think that's crazy. Crazy. Well, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my man, Evan Altman, to the show. We're going to talk things Bears. Tokyo series about to start. 7 hours? No. 20 hours. 20 and a half. 18 and a half. 18 and a half hours. It gets a cracking. So Cub fans get excited. Start off the 2025 regular season. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. on the Marquee Network. If you don't have the Marquee Network, on channel 32. All right. So let's take a break. Come back right after these short messages. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We're looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Ground ball to short. Dansby dives, fields to first, 2 away. Oh, Dansby rips that to short. Dansby picks that again. Go figure. Man, he's so good. And he hits that one well into left field, and that ball will one-hop the wall. Swanson to second, and Dansby Swanson does it in the field. Leadoff double at the plate here in the second. Great start. Pete, hard line drive, right center field. That's a base hit. Pete easily goes for 2, and it's a leadoff double for Pete Crow-Armstrong in the 5th. Workman grounds it right side. That's a base hit. PCA scores, and Gage Workman gives the Cubs their first run of the Tokyo series. It's a 1-0 game in the 5th.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Marquee Network. That was the Cubs, your Cubbies, people. Right? The Cubbies got the win yesterday over the Yomiuri Giants. I didn't want to mispronounce that. Yomiuri Giants 4-2. Swanson looks like he is having a day. And let me tell you, it's going to be a lot of pomp and circumstance. I know a few people who were out there in Tokyo for the game. It's a pretty cool deal if you're able to make it out there. If you're a Cub fan and you're able to make it out there, it was a pretty cool deal. All right, Tokyo, Japan is, definitely one of the places I want to visit before I pass. Beautiful country, and I love travel. All right, I just love traveling. I think it's important for us to expand our horizons, get out of first travel through the States. See, people realize that People think going to Europe is great, and it is. And there's a lot of those snobs who say, "Oh, you've never been out of the United States? Oh, I've been to Europe," and they're a little snobby about it. You realize Europe is so small compared to the United States. You could put a couple of Europes in the United States. So the United States has a lot of places to visit that are completely different. All right, just the state of California alone is different. All right, then you have Arizona, the desert. All right, Texas, the desert. You have the Southeast. You have the Mid-South. You have the Northeast. You got the Pacific Northwest. You got the Big Sky. You got the Midwest. All right, there's a lot of different places to go see. A lot of beach towns, a lot of urban centers. And the more, it's okay if you haven't gone to Europe or Asia or anywhere else, so it's okay. Make sure you hit the U.S. first. All right? I shouldn't say first. Just make sure that you don't forget about the U.S. and don't forget about the wide variety of cultures here in the United States. Okay? Because the South, it's a lot different than the Midwest. A lot different than the Northeast. All right, from New York, Philly, Boston, Wicked Pissa. All right, that culture is a whole lot different than in the rural South. Everyone's still ma'am and sir. All right. If you're a melanated person, just be careful down there in the South. Be careful. Because even though that Southern hospitality is in full effect, the hatred is in full effect as well too. So I had a story. And I think you've heard the story. Waiting on Evan to check in, to chime in and join the show. When I was going down from we drove from Holy Cross to South Padre Island my senior year of college. We went down spring break. South Padre Island. Let me just tell you, spring break is awesome. Spring break is awesome. There were only 4 of us who went down there from all Holy Cross. The Holy Cross is not very big. Only about 3,000 students. Okay. Me, Bill Hitchmoth, who's a corrections officer in Massachusetts, Monty Chandler, who's a big-time lawyer in New York City, and my roommate, Troy Dixon, who runs his own hedge fund, also in New York City. We all went down. Troy met us down there because he had an interview with Cantor Fitzgerald in One World Trade Center, and flew down, and he met us, and we picked him up in Harlingen, Texas. So he flew from Worcester or Boston. I don't know where he flew from. No, he was home in New York. So he flew down to Harlingen, Texas, which is the southern tip of Texas. Right before you go over, you have to take a bridge over to South Padre because it's an island. It's not connected to anything. It's an island. So we're driving through and we're making phenomenal time. And we stopped in Montgomery? Yeah, Montgomery. And we were killing it. We were killing time. I had my Ford Probe, and we drove down in that. We drove right down I-95, cut across, and South's still the South. This is 1993. And that's back when the Negro League jerseys had come out, and they were big, huge sellers, the Negro League jerseys. So we're in Montgomery, I want to say, and we stop at a mall. We're like, man, let's get out, let's stretch our feet, get something to eat, get back on the road. We're making great time, so if we stay here 45 minutes, an hour, we're good. Because, man, So we're in there. So me and Monty. Oh. I made a mistake. Wow. I'm going to be on about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're down there and we go in. Hitch says I have to, which Hitch is a white dude. Monty and Troy are black. So me and Monty walk into, we all walk in. Hitch like I gotta hit the head. So we went to the bathroom. And we walk in and Monty's like, oh, can I see one of those? It was the black Cubans, I think they had, New York black Cubans. And he said, Monty asked the dude, it was a white kid, white man, said, can I see the New York Black Giants, the Negro League jerseys? And the dude said, oh, you want to see the N-word jerseys? Like, not Negro League. He's like, I was like, whoa, did he just? And Monty's a very outspoken New Yorker. He's like, what? And the guy called cool the other side of the pillow, said, oh, you want to see those N-word jerseys? Like, oh, you didn't hear me the first time? I'll repeat it. Monty got so pissed. He was like, what did you just say? And at that point, like, Monty, we got to go. He's like, no, did you hear what he said? I said, no, I heard what he said. It means we got to go. And I had to drag him out of the store because Monty's about to tell him off. And we were in shape. We were in football shape. And he was like, oh, hell no. I was like, oh, hell yeah. I said, Monty, we're in the South, bro. I said, he blows a whistle. I said, who knows who comes running? I'm like, we got to go. And as we're walking out of the store, Hitch is coming from the back of him. He's like, what? And Monty yells, oh, he said if we want to see them N-word jerseys. He said, what? And Hitch is like, oh, we got to go. He knew too. He's like, we got to go. Like, and Monty was mad. I'm like, Monty, I'm telling you, bro, I know you're mad. I know it's wrong. I know he said it to your face. I said, but we got to go, bro. I said, I do not want to see who he can call at the drop of a dime. I don't want to see it. Not in Montgomery, Alabama, bro. I'm sorry. So if you do go visit the South, it's got a lot of nice places. Just be careful, especially if you're a little more melanated than some people. Okay? To this day, me, Monty, and Hitch we laugh about that today. Not because of what was said, but just because of the situation. Because Monty wanted to give the dude a piece of his mind, and we're like, no. I'm not trying to get lynched down here. So just be careful in the South. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But yeah. But there's so many different things. So you know what? Here's what we can do while we're waiting for Evan. We can talk about the NCAA tournament. Evan will be on right around 10 o'clock, then I presume. I was excited. NCAA tournament time is always awesome. Cornelia says, I used to tell my probationers all the time to be careful when going to the South, especially if they are going to relocate in Texas. Yeah, Texas too. We're in heart of the South, boy, down in Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah. That was nuts. I'm telling you, that was so crazy. So crazy. And the dude was like, "You want them N-word jerseys?" Because I heard it, and I didn't know if Monty heard it. And I kind of looked, and Monty's eyes got big. He looked at me. He's like, "What? What?" And the dude said, "Oh, you didn't? Oh, I thought you thought I won't say it again. I'll say it again." And he did. We're like, "What? He got to go." Montgomery's been one. It's been one. We out. Yeah, to this day, it was funny. To this day. At the time, it wasn't. Monty was livid. He was livid. But yeah, so be careful, as I was saying. But NCAA tourney time, man. I get excited around this time because it brings me back to my childhood. All right, it brings me back because I loved when the brackets came out. I loved the number one seeds. I love March Madness. And for those of you who don't know, March Madness is a term made up in Illinois. It refers to the Illinois State basketball tournament. Okay, Illinois has patented the term March Madness. So when the NCAA uses it, they obviously pay the state of Illinois. It was coined to describe the Illinois State high school basketball tournament originally. Look it up. I'm telling you. But anyway, it was always fun because there were always so many good teams, different conferences. The Big East was amazing conference. There were times you'd have 5 or 6 teams. You have Villanova, which was Villanova, St. John's, DePaul, Syracuse, Providence. What else? And then, obviously, the ACC was way strong back then with North Carolina, Duke, Maryland, Virginia, those things. And those were in the Big Ten. The Big Ten was a lot more physical historically. You had the Pac-12, which you like to running up and down. So those were always good times for me. I loved whenever the brackets came out. And then as a kid, you always fill out your bracket. And then you'd always get a couple because you always fill out a couple. You had one main one, but like, let me just screw around and see another one if another one goes. But man, that was a fun time. I don't do it as much now. I mean, people, obviously there's money involved now. You can win $1 trillion if you pick the right, pick the bracket exactly, all 64 games, 63 games, whatever. Yeah, that's crazy. But I'm not a gambler, so I'm keeping my money in my pocket. Well, listen, my first guest is a good friend of the program, and I appreciate it. I screwed up and put the wrong day, which is why he wasn't on at 9:30. My mistake. I'm telling you, I played football a long time. I had a lot of hits to the head. Definitely some CTE going when they crack my shit open when I'm dead and buried, or before I'm buried. When I'm cold, they're gonna say, "Oh, yeah, there's CTE." Anyway, he's the editor-in-chief of CubsInsider.com. You can find him on Twitter at the letter D, Evan Altman. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Evan Altman. Evan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Hey, it's good. I'm getting screwed up with the Cubs being out in Japan, but I was like, man, I didn't think my time was 5 days off, but no, but I did. But that's the second. So right. A quick story about that, right? Because I'm like, oh man, I'm on Eastern time, and I feel real bad for y'all in Central or even further west because tomorrow's game and Wednesday's game start at 6:10 in the morning for me. So I had my alarm set for 6. It's a little earlier than I normally get up. And so I wake up, and I don't know how I realized it when I woke up and not when I set the alarm, but I woke up and went, damn it, the game is tomorrow, you idiot. And so I was able, so that's twice. It's already twice. It's too early in the day for me to screw up times twice, but here we are. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you know what? I got a couple people over there in Tokyo who are going to attend the series. It's pretty cool. And I got to talking about traveling, and if you're a Bears fan or a Cub fan, Bears they've traveled a little bit because they were in Paris, the Cubs, start the season. The Bears were in London. Weren't the Cubs when they Paris or England?
They were in London. Cubs were in London a couple years
London.
ago. Yeah,
they were in a couple years ago. The Bears were in London as well. You get a lot of travel miles for our teams. But how excited are you to have the Cubs open up the season in Tokyo? You think how cool of a thing do you think it is, or do you think it's cool at all? Are you just annoyed with the fact that they're starting off, then they're going back to spring training games afterward? But your thoughts on the whole Tokyo series?
Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth on it, right? And my main sensation at this point is jealousy, because I'm seeing all these pictures of everybody over there. I've never been to Japan. This would have provided such a tremendous opportunity. But then on the flip side, I look at it and say, well, my bank account is probably very happy that I'm not over there, because I was out there in London, and I stopped by Iceland on the way back through, and that took that put a nice little dent in the nest egg, you know what I mean? So or whatever we want to call it. But so I really dig the whole concept of it, especially with both of the teams involved having very high profile Japanese superstar players on their team, not just superstars in Japan, but like all-star level, Cy Young contending type dudes who are up and down their rosters. Certainly the Dodgers with more, but I wish they would have done this, let's say over this week, like push it back 4 or 5 days, something like that, because I hate the concept that you've got to get these guys ramped up. We know the pitchers aren't ready to go more than maybe 70, 75 pitches, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Then they got to come back. You got the jet lag stuff going on. The Cubs have 5 more spring training games, and then they start the regular season. I'm like, if you're going to start the season, start it. What's the point? Like, spring games don't matter to begin with, but back it up and then let them, both teams go out there, like finish your Cactus League early, go out, spend the time, then take like 2 or 3 days once you get back stateside. If you got to do some inter squad scrimmages, some minor league games, whatever, but then let them prep a little bit more. I don't really like the timing of it. That's my problem.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem that a lot of people are having with it. But I mean, in all, I think it's just a good thing. Talk about the exhibition. Now the Cubs had a couple exhibition games out there, going up against some Japanese teams. The Yomiuri Giants they had yesterday. They smacked down their candy asses. Was it 7-6?
Yeah.
But it's always good, and I know Cub fans it was all up and down my timeline. They're like, "Oh my God, Go Cubs Go's playing in a Tokyo Dome." I'm like, oh boy. But that was cool that they got to see it. What they got to play Japanese teams. I thought that was really cool for them, because it's just a different type of baseball, different types of players you've never seen before, and I just thought it was a good experience for the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, it felt a lot like the World Baseball Classic in a way.
Yes.
Yeah, because we know baseball a certain way, but to see it, like to actually see that happen, whether it's and I love when we get to see like those Caribbean teams and the South American teams and those fans, especially like when they had those WBC games in Miami, and watching how you watch those teams from the Dominican and Puerto Rico in there, and like those fans, man, they show out. There were 10,000 people at the Tokyo Dome to watch these teams practice, right? Like that is wild, and so for them, it's just cool. It's such a cool mix of like, we don't know those players over there, but everybody knows Ohtani and Imanaga and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and all you, right? So like these guys are just these. Imagine if the best American athletes, I guess it's kind of like this with soccer, right? If there's Americans that have to go and play in the European leagues because that's where the best competition is, and then you see them come back over here, that would be something we don't really experience it that much because it's just not as well known. But it's that same sort of thing. You got these expat guys coming in, and just to have the American fans be able to see that experience and watch the whole thing, it's such a weird vibe too. Like to me, to see them, like the Japanese teams were pitching with the Japanese baseball, which is slightly smaller than the American baseball, doesn't travel quite as well. But then the Cubs and the Dodgers are pitching with the American baseball. So like literally changing the equipment, but then that means the Dodgers and the Cubs are hitting a different baseball from what they're used to.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine just taking, like, if you had a different size basketball in play, depending on, you know what I mean, or a different football. And I know each team gets to kind of do their football up and kind of do that the way they like. So it's sort of like that, but it's just such an odd twist. And I love that stuff. I love the novelty of it, and just kind of go out there and play in the game. It feels a little bit, like I said, like the WBC, but and obviously it's not a sandlot, but it sort of has that feel, right? It's just really cool to be able to have people experience that. So
I didn't know about the baseballs, man. Holy cow. I had no idea. That's wild. That is really, really wild. So the Cubs are hitting like a P,
yeah.
And the Japanese are hitting a beach ball.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and of course we know what they've done. I don't know which MLB baseball it was, because we know they've manipulated that thing back and forth over the last several years anyway, but Aaron Judge wasn't out there. So I guess maybe they didn't have the juiced balls out there to help him set some records at Yankee Stadium. Who knows?
Going into the season, how excited are you? To me, it seems like the NFC, NFC North.
I think the Vikings are going to be real good this year, as they transition over.
The NL Central seems to be wide open. How confident are you with this Cubs rotation and a couple of bats that they've added? How confident are you that they can come out with the Central crown?
I mean, I feel pretty good about them, better than I have. And I know, they were expected to be a little bit better last year, certainly. And I don't think anybody expected the Brewers to be as good as what they were. But if you look up and down, the Cardinals have signed exactly one major league contract this year and are looking to trade guys off left and right wherever they can. The Pirates still haven't done enough, I think, to put a team around Paul Skeens, and they continue to manage that team like a bunch of idiots. Especially with not calling Skeens up early, missing out on draft picks that they could have gotten from the prospect promotion incentives, and still missing out, right? So a lot of people look at it, there's this whole thing about service time manipulation, and people are like, oh, you hold them back so you get an extra year of service. Well, lo and behold, the new rules are if you finish first or second in Rookie of the Year, the other major awards, you are granted a full year anyway. So the Pirates missed out on an extra year of Paul Skeens and missed out on draft picks. So I don't know what they're doing. I think Cincinnati could be a lot better. Tito Francona being down there, they've got a lot of young talent. I said the Pirates, even though they didn't do a good enough job, they still have some just young stud players. I think they can be a problem. The Brewers, again, always a problem. So I don't think it's going to be something the Cubs run away with, but I do believe the additions that they've made, the pitching staff up and down is a lot better. They've got a superstar in Kyle Tucker, and added some depth. I think Matt Shaw is going to be tremendous. So, yeah, they should be favorites, but I think the thing that'll be keeping them right now from being big time as far as contenders in the postseason when it really matters is that one other, right now the rotation is a bunch of dudes who throw 92, and that's fine. They're all pretty good with a couple who could be excellent, but I don't see them, unless they move Ben Brown to the rotation and go out and maybe get a Dylan Cease at the trade deadline, perhaps when his cost comes down. I think that's something they lack when it comes to truly making noise outside of the division.
And then with the Cardinals, they just there.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't added. They've gotten rid of people. They didn't add anybody. I think we're going to see another year from them where they're really having to retool, and they're still trying to get rid of Arenado and move some other dudes around. So I don't see them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals finish last in the division by a fairly decent margin, to be honest.
Somehow, I don't think you'll be disappointed if that happens.
No, I won't be.
I know you guys love. I mean, that's a crazy rivalry, and it's kind of like us in Green Bay. Every time, I don't care who, as long as the Packers lose, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
as long as they lose, they get embarrassed. It doesn't matter. And I know Cub fans, as long as the Cardinals lose, it doesn't matter. Talk about the bats you picked up a little in the offseason. Justin Turner, Kyle Turner.
Kyle Tucker.
Justin
Turner. See, I messed him up. Oh, yeah. I messed it up all the time.
He's the massage kicker. He's the sexual assaultant. No, I don't want that dude.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell these guys, hey, we gotta have a certain protocol here. It's I feel like have an in-house masseuse and have a driver Like, there's no reason for professional athletes to be getting DUIs and going in there and picking up a handy and getting a little, Anyway, I don't want to make light of it because that was just he sounds like he's maybe a pretty terrible person. But if we talk about the guys the Cubs have, which is I think where you wanted me to go with that.
Yeah, Justin Turner, Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
Those guys, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
not Justin Tucker.
Right. No, or Kyle Turner, who I don't know if is even a real person. Who knows? I'm sure there's one out there. No, I mean, I think that's the interesting thing is, they effectively swapped out Cody Bellinger for Kyle Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people who maybe, and the thing about Tucker is I gotta like think a couple beats before I say the name just to make sure I'm not going the wrong way. But this is a dude who's probably a top 5 hitter in baseball over the last 5 years, like since he became a regular with Houston.
Yep.
But the thing is, when you look at the dudes that Houston has had on that team, you don't even list him generally among the top 3 to 4 players on that team. And he was, but he's a quiet, kind of soft-spoken, low-key dude. And so people don't normally Alex Bregman Tucker was way better than Bregman production-wise, but you think about Bregman earlier, right? Jose Altuve is another one that comes to mind, right. Guys like that. But I mean, Tucker was, and he missed a lot of last year with a broken shin. And so that kind of curtailed his numbers, but he still, if you look at that and extrapolate it out, we're talking like Juan Soto type production, right? Which is kind of crazy to think about. So big upgrade there over what they had gotten from Bellinger, even though it cost them, some prospects and everything, but I think the fit makes sense. And so when you look at, he's also a Gold Glove defender out there. So when you look at putting him, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Ian Happ, right, there are multiple Gold Gloves, and PCA is easily the best defender out of all of them and doesn't have that Gold Glove yet, but I think he will starting this year and basically for the next 10. And so just the defense alone being upgraded is great, but you have a guy like that who is the rising tide to lift all the ships, right? Like he's that stud in the middle of the order they haven't really had in a long time. And, I mean, when we're looking at maybe a Chris Bryant, right, those first 3 years that he put up, like that's the kind of production you can expect or hope for at least from him. And then Justin Turner, to go to the other side, right now you've got this veteran, he's in his 40s, but still producing at above a league average level. And when you get a guy like that, who you're not signing him to be a starter, to be an everyday guy, you're signing him he can fill a couple spots in the corner infield. He can come in there to pinch hit. He can be a DH, but he's a professional who's been around for a long time and just, he's a gamer. I mean, this is a dude who he's not around. Like he knows he's not going to start and get every day at bats, but he wants to be around there. I think he's going to be, we're already seeing like palling around with PCA out there in Tokyo. I think that's the perfect kind of guy to bring in a manner similar to when they brought David Ross in as, not just to be John Lester's personal catcher, but to have that influence over these younger guys, to show them the ropes, to tell them what it's like to be a professional player, how you need to carry yourself, how you need to take care of your body. Because, hey, if you can still be playing at a high level into your late 30s and into your 40s, some of that's maybe genetic gift, but clearly the guy knows how to take care of himself, right? And to be able to show up every day and do that. So I think his value to the team is probably going to be more in what he brings kind of as a presence versus what his stats are going to be. But that's really, really important when you're talking about kind of a team in transition and trying to go into becoming a real contender for more than just a year at a time. You need those guys to kind of see that before they've actually had a chance to experience it for themselves.
Yeah, and guys, we're joined by Evan Altman, editor-in-chief over at CubsInsider.com, talking Cubs baseball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. And it is important, man. People don't understand the importance of having a veteran, a guy who's done it, a guy who's won it, a guy who's 40 plus, all right? And you're right, the longevity. How do you do that? Well, these youngsters are going to see that it takes time. You're going to see the importance of nutrition, the importance of taking care of your body, properly stretching, properly resting at night, not necessarily going out to the clubs and Rush Street and River North all the time. It's your body. This is your profession. And when you watch a guy who has all the accolades, it rings volumes, all right, to these youngsters, because these youngsters are going to want to play. Because, man, think about it. By the time they're 40, I mean, imagine PCA, if he's 40, if he's 37, 38, getting signed for defensive purposes, what are these jokers making now? Like $3 to $5 million a year for utility? It might be 8 to 10 at that particular point. And when you're 15 years down the line, you're going to be getting 8 to 10 million. That's a nice piece of change. That's a nice piece of change.
It is, and I think that's where so this team that's the thing is like it's easy to forget, but I was watching right ahead of their first exhibition game in Japan. I was watching that Game 7 series on Prime, and watching Game 7 of the 2016 World Series. Well, that's 9 years ago now, right? There's nobody left in the organization at all from a player perspective who was part of that team. Ian Happ came up the next year, right? So Kyle Hendricks is gone now. Nobody from that squad. And so when you look at that, you say, well, there's nobody to pass that along, right? And so that's where it makes so much sense to bring in some of those veterans. Plus, they've got, Tucker was there with the Astros, and they've won a couple, right? And Ryan Presley, who they brought over from the Astros, another guy who's been there and done that. And so that's where it helps. If you can't create that winning atmosphere internally, if you don't have anybody who's experienced it within that, then you need to bring that in from the outside, because that's what's always the toughest part. You could look at anybody until you've actually gone and won it. Like sometimes you got to go in there and get smacked in the face a couple times. We saw that with Jordan and the Bulls, right? You see that with, even the Cubs, right? That in 2015, they had a great run, had a great squad, and then got smacked by the Mets. And so you kind of have to have that, a little bit of that fire, a little bit of understanding, and then you can kind of go from there. So again, having nobody in the infrastructure of the team that had been there, it's great to bring in some of these vets, let them see what's going on, and just kind of tell them what it's like, and then let them experience that for themselves, and hopefully they can accelerate that learning curve a little bit.
So realistically, how do you think the chances of the Cubs winning a World Series this year or next year? Because, these guys are older, and you want to impart this wisdom and knowledge on these youngsters. Because if you're able to get to the NLCS, okay, or get to the World Series, or even win it, and I know it's going to be tough for the Dodgers and a couple other teams, but should anything happen, a lot of people get hurt. Shohei Ohtani didn't pitch for a whole year, all right, because of his show. So things happen, and we all know that. How valuable would it be for these youngsters to be around these guys, these veterans who have won, shown them how to win, and then won with these guys? Because, again, Turner's going to be gone at some particular point. We don't know if they're re-signing Tucker. But then you got the Ian Happs, you got the PCAs, the Matt Shaws. These youngsters will have won it, and now they can kind of build what they've learned from these veterans.
Yeah, I look at it a couple different ways, right? Because the most obvious is to look at it and say, man, how do you get past the Dodgers in a full season, in a playoff run, especially when you look at the rotation strength that they've got, right? Mm-hmm. When you can go out and get a Roki Sasaki, and that dude might not even be in your rotation, probably won't be come playoff time unless things change, right? Because they've got just studs up and down. You've got 3 MVPs literally in the top 3 spots in your order, right? Like probably the greatest player who's ever played the game, and then 2 other MVPs following him up. Like, how do you beat that? But at the same time, you look at that, and like you said, injuries come up. I also look at the Braves, right? Like they were missing Ronald Acuna Jr. for most of the year. Spencer Strider blew out his elbow right away. Those guys are coming back. And you're talking there again about an MVP caliber player and a Cy Young caliber pitcher. And so do the Cubs have the firepower? But at the same time, I also look at it and say, well, we've seen it time and time again. And you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. You don't have to be the better team for 162 games. You need to be the better team for 5 or 7, right? Whatever the case may be there.
Well, hell, the Braves, dude, the Braves had Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox. Yeah. And how many World Series did they win?
They got their one. You win the division every year. They put themselves in position, but then, so somebody will come up and bite you. It can happen. And so, I don't like their chances overall just because of how many things can happen. And I feel like they're a piece away. And that's why I kind of mentioned Cease or one of that, because you look at their rotation. That's what it really comes down to me. I think they're going to be able to bang with some of the other teams out there, or at least, cause some havoc too. They got a lot of speed on so they've kind of improved at the margins to where I think that helps them win several more games during the regular season. Just a run here or there makes a big difference, but it's the rotation right now that really, to me is the weak spot when it comes to how do you go in there and bang with somebody, right? Because if you're talking about Rocky and Drago standing in the middle of the ring trading punches, at a certain point, I look at that Dodgers rotation and the staff in general just has so many dudes they could throw at you that I think at a certain point, unless you get lucky and connect with the haymaker early, like they're going to be able to withstand just about anything. So that's the part that scares me a little bit. But again, that said, I think we see a team that is clearly in playoff contention, division leadership. And then at that point, like I said, you get to October and who knows?
So how much would they benefit? Because I'm old school, dude. I'm get off my lawn, you young whippersnapper. All right. How much would it benefit for them to literally go back to the basics? I know everyone talks about metrics and exit velo and all this other stuff and launch angle, but there's still 3-2 games, 1-0 games, 5-4 games. All right. How beneficial would it be that? And you just mentioned the fact that they got speed on the bases. How beneficial would it be to get these guys running? How beneficial would it be to get these guys bunting? Because teams don't practice the defending a bunt because no one bunts. No one bunts for average. You get a guy like PCA who puts it down. That Joker, he runs like he stole something. So you're if you're back or you're slipping, or you know what I mean. You gotta realize the mind plays a crazy part because I know who's running down, so I got to make sure I make a good throw. You air me like that dude's on second or even third with no outs in the first inning. So how beneficial would it be for them to go back to the fundamentals? Because how many games are won and lost by one run because they can't manufacture a run?
Yeah, no, that is huge, and it's very much something that they targeted, right? So new third base coach Quentin Berry. If you are really into the deep cuts, like he's one of those guys the Cubs picked up as one of those late September additions a few years back, simply to be a pinch runner. Like the dude hardly ever got plate appearances in the majors, but he was a tremendous runner. He was a third base coach or base running and outfield coach, I believe, with Milwaukee. So got him poached from there again as a third base coach. So this is a guy I think they're going to be more aggressive there. And when you look at the percentages, the Cubs did an okay job overall when you look at kind of base running runs, because that's something they sort of measure, but they weren't as good like going first to third on singles, scoring from second on singles, things like that, right? Getting two bases on a base hit. And that's where somebody like PCA, that speed, Matt Shaw, very fast, John Birdie, kind of an underrated, again, there's another veteran pickup, not so much, his bat has played at times, but he's also a really good base runner. Kyle Tucker, very good base runner, not super fast, but still a good runner. And so is Happ. So I think we see this team looking to get those extra bases because, like you said, if you can get to second versus first, you got less than 2 outs, all of a sudden your percentage chance of scoring a run goes up tremendously, right? It's how do you get that run in from scoring position? Because over the course of a season, you talk about turning a 1-run loss into a 1-run win, and that makes a big difference. And like you said, the other thing is it's so different. There's one thing to run, and there's another thing, and you referenced this with PCA. He's very similar to Javi Baez in that once he's on base, you have to know where, like, he is in your head as a pitcher, as a defense.
Focal point. Yes.
Yeah. So
the distraction.
So then,
what it is, he's a distraction.
So how many times it was like, it was the funniest thing in the world to me when pitchers would throw over to first with Javi on first when he wasn't even leading off. Like he's
extended his foot back. He didn't even move. He just pushed out.
So now you know that dude's in your head, and if he's in your head, we know you're not devoting everything to that batter, right? And so you get a guy who can hit behind the runner with PCA on second, he's scoring, right? He's stealing a base, the ball goes into center, he's going. We saw him the other day steal or go from second to home on a wild pitch, right? And it wasn't even close. Not like there was a play at the plate, like it wasn't close. He beat it by 10 or 15 feet. So those are the kinds of things up and down the lineup that I think they're going to try to take more advantage of. And I didn't even mention Nico Horner because he's been hurt, hadn't been playing in the live games yet, but that's another dude who's capable of stealing 30, 40 bases. And with the new rules right around base running, it only makes sense to leverage that because it's just it's easier. It's not just smarter. And then you talk about, right, putting down that bunt, getting guys over, get them on, get them over, get them in. And that's, I think, going to be a huge part of what they do because the power isn't elite by any stretch, right? They're not going to be out there hitting more home runs than anybody else, but if they can make those doubles in the gap play up that much more, I think absolutely that's an area they're going to exploit.
And that's one thing that's kind of like why I've been so turned off on baseball. Again, I'm gonna get off my lawn, you young whippersnapper. All right, I'm 53 years old, be 54 this year. All right, I love that the one-run game. I love putting pressure on the defense. You stress them, put pressure on them, make them make the throw, make them get them out, like you say, get them out, get them over, get them in. The guy on second base, hit the ball to the right side, bunt the ball to the right side, or bunt it at the third baseman, one or the other. Get that dude over in scoring position. And to me, I didn't like baseball really growing up a lot. It was too slow for me. I mean, give me basketball, and God, give me football. But as I got older, I started to understand the science and the skill behind it. Like, oh, shit. And I'd say probably when I was like 25, 27, right before I was 30, is when I really started to have a much better appreciation of baseball and the skill and the strategy of it. And now everyone's so worried about metrics, the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball. I know. I just ask Maddox. I get it. But that doesn't always win the games. You can't just hope to say, okay, well, we're going to out-homer people. No, you got to outscore people and you got to manufacture runs. And a lot of times teams don't do it because they can't do it. And if you have the guys to do it, why aren't they being coached to do that? And that's the one thing I have an issue with. And if you talk about this guy that the Cubs got, the third base coach, if they, rely on him to say, hey, let's work on bunting. Bunting, it only takes 5 minutes a day. It's not like you got to practice bunting an hour a day. No, just learn on positioning the bat, positioning your hand, following the ball. It's the little things that you do. Well, a good friend of mine told me, a coaching colleague, he said, if you take care of all the little things, there are no big things. And 5 minutes a day is all it would take to work on bunting for guys. And when we need it, when teams need it in a pinch, you have multiple guys who could be capable of doing it. And that's one of the reasons that it frustrates me, because you got guys, you have speed. We don't use speed in Major League Baseball anymore, for the most part. No one steals bases anymore, which is, I don't know why. But nonetheless, if the Cubs were able to do that and become not the best in the world, the best there ever was, just proficient in it, man, they could add 5 to 10 wins. And that's the difference between, third place in the division and the division crown.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you think about that, especially once you get late in games.
Yes.
And it's tied.
And your sphincter's tighten. Like, oh, we got to win this one because we don't want to lose 2 out of 3. We want to win 2 out of 3. Oh, yes.
Yep. And you can get that extra run in, especially if you're the visiting team, right? And put that pressure on the home team. You can carry that in. Or, and I mean, same thing. You want to win it, but it avoids those extra innings. I mean, there's so many little things that stack up, right? Because, hey, you're putting less pressure on your bullpen at that point. Fewer innings, higher, removing some of those high leverage situations. You're not having to tax that closer and use him there's so many downstream impacts of that, and I think when you look at a season, any given season, and the difference between 80 wins and 90 wins might be 10 runs, right? Over the course of 162 games, that might be all it is. And it might be, again, and maybe it's a game you ended up losing by 4. But if you had gotten a run earlier, now they got to go to the bullpen. Now they got to do this. It's the butterfly effect, right? And that's the kind of thing I think we're going to see more of from them. And we started to see it. And you're certainly seeing it in spring. We saw it a little bit last year, and we've seen it with Horner stealing more. We've seen PCA. I think, like people talked about, he went for a while and had a really nice streak there where he hadn't been caught stealing, and but he was still a little bit more tentative. I think he wasn't out there trying to really express himself yet. He was trying to figure things out. I think we see a different animal from him as this guy really comes into his own, and it's going to be just an interesting thing. But like you said, team speed, that's just not something that, like, especially in the 90s, it just went away. Like, steal bases, why?
Yeah,
we're just gonna juice up and hit it over the fence 15 times a game. Like, I don't need
out of the park.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it over the fence. I don't care whether you're on first or second or third. But I think especially we saw the wind blowing in a lot at Wrigley, so that took away a lot of homers. And I think the other thing is, like you said, it's not even a situation where you have to bunt a lot, but it's when that situation comes up, you need guys who are able to do those things. And if you can't, and you're asking a dude, like we saw a couple times the last couple of years with Patrick Wisdom, like, why would you send that dude up to bunt? When's the last time he bunted in a game? When, like, You can't ask somebody to do something like that. You're asking for problems then. But if you have worked on it and you know you can trust a dude like that in that situation, all of a sudden it becomes so advantageous to you. So versus like kind of holding your breath and crossing your fingers and praying that he gets it down, you're like, okay, I trust this guy to do this. Now I can use this as a strategic play. Or what if you do it early and now all of a sudden you're in your head was that, and now they're like, oh crap, I didn't know he could, now we gotta protect against the bunt. But now you go ahead and pull that thing back, slap it backside, and now you've gotten them. So it's all, like you said, it's this compounding interest of different little strategic ploys that you can implement at whatever point, and then it's like, again, if you're a guy who only throws fastball, curveball, that's it. Well, eventually they might be able to guess right a little bit more often, but you start dropping that changeup in there every once in a while. Now they got to think about that. So I'm with you though. That's what I love about the strategy and the long play of it, not just this game, but what's that mean for the next game? What's that mean for the next time you face this team? What's that mean for the team that was? Yes, they're looking at all those things, and now again, you got them. It's misdirection, right? And then you get them with the right. So yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, so hopefully they do it, because believe me, I wish my White Sox would have done it, a long time ago. With that last crew we just had, all that talent. But they just let them swing away. And I was like, no, you got speed. Like, they never let Lewis Robert run. They never let Tim Anderson run. Never let Yoel Moncada run when he was healthy, which wasn't very often. All right, but they never let him run. Like, run. If you get caught stealing, good. Okay, so what? Guess what? They know you're going to run again. And you still got to make that throw. You still got to make that catch. It's got to be a good throw. If it hops, now the shortstop or the second baseman has to make sure he catches it on the hop. Or otherwise it's in center field. Now this guy's at third. There's so many different things, and I was so mad that they didn't. That people have strayed away from the fundamentals because of the analytics. And we should go for a homer this time. We should go for, it's better to. It's the numbers say he should swing away as opposed to bunting and giving up an out. I'm like, no, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a fan of winning games, and when you do what you need to do to win, I don't care what the numbers say. If people aren't as proficient defensively as they were back in the day, because people used to bunt more back in the day. If they're not proficient defensively, then challenge them and make you work. Hell, what the hell you do in spring training?
Yeah,
what the hell spring training for? They got the small field. Dude, that was the first time I ever saw that small field. When we were out in, for my 40th, I want to say. We were out in Arizona visiting my guy from high school, and I was like, what the fuck is this field? It was just an infield field. And the fence is like 5 feet behind the end of the infield. I'm like, what the hell is that? What's this? And my guy's like, oh, it's an infield. Because I didn't play baseball in high school. And my guy did. He's like, oh, that's an infield field. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, just you work on all infield stuff. I was like, that looks so weird. Just have the fence right behind the infield. Like, that's wild. But it's interesting why guys don't do it. And I think the Cubs have a good group of people that can work on fundamental. I mean, everyone can, but the Cubs have guys that got speed. They have good defense, and if you with that, along with pressuring when you're on offense, stressing the defense, it is a good chance that you can win a lot more games than you probably should, because you stress people into doing stuff that they don't really prepare for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's what it comes down to, right? And again, you need to be able to win in multiple ways. It's just,
yes.
I mean, you see that from all kinds of teams that then once that gets exploited. Right, and I'll go back to, I look at Purdue's NCAA tournament run last year, and they had Big Zach Edey there in the middle. But then where they got in trouble was once they had to play UConn in the finals, and I can't remember that, but UConn's got a big 7'2" guy who could also kind of move outside. So now you've slowed down. You got a shot blocker in there. You take away that big weapon, but now I don't know how to react, right? But if I know that on any given day I could win in a variety of different ways. I could win with power. I could win with speed. I could win with pitching, with defense, whatever. Then you're never surprised. And I think that's the thing is, right, the whole everybody's got a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. And that's the thing is, if you get punched in the mouth and, get a little bloody lip, you check it, and then you smile and you laugh at them because you're like, what, that's the best you got? Now I'm gonna take that shot and I'm going to give you back 3 more. That's what I hope to see very much from this team, is that it isn't going to be anywhere close to one-dimensional. And that's just much more fun baseball to watch, because that's what we saw in 2015, 2016. The Cubs were just very proficient across a number of different facets of the game. and you never felt like they were out of it because they could always kind of beat you in different ways. And it just made it a lot more fun to watch because, again, you never knew what was coming, right? It was an adventure every time.
And you in 2015-16, me in 05. You know, those are great. I mean, how many times did Scotty Potts get walked, steal second? You know, sometimes go to third on a bad throw. You know, ground to the right side, ball 1-0 Sox, bottom of the first, and we had ball didn't leave the infield. Those are the types of things that I enjoy. You know, because they're gonna hit home runs. You're gonna hit your home runs. They're gonna hit their home runs. But man, when teams are able to manufacture runs, that's what gets me excited. And and the Cubs, if they focus, I think there's a chance that they can be one of those teams. Many teams don't focus on what you said, winning multiple ways. We got to get doubles. We got to go shopping at the gap. We got to put it over the fence. That's how we win. That's not the only way you can win. Another team, for some reason, a lot of teams don't focus on that, and I don't know why. Like I said, what the hell are you doing in spring training?
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
You got a whole month.
Yeah. Work on it. So, Evan, great stuff as always, man. Again, I apologize for the confusion. I screwed up. I looked at the text. It did say Friday. I was like, damn. But I'm glad you're able to come on because I did want to talk to you about the Cubs in Japan and this whole Tokyo series. So I appreciate the time, man. But before you go, let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, for sure. So check me out. I'm on the social media train at the Evan Altman, but just go to CubsInsider.com, or if you prefer to go through it through social media, we're on X and Blue Sky at Real Cubs Insider, and you can just check Cubs Insider on Facebook as well. So check it out. And if you do go visit our socials, we got an NCAA bracket pool going on right now. We're going to try to raise some money for a local Chicago baseball themed charity and the Lost Boys. So got a bunch going on there. So we'll cross over with the sports, but yeah, glad to be here. Can't wait till the next time. Hopefully we got some good baseball to talk about, at least on one side of town.
We're trying. We'll get there in a couple of years. Give us some time. If I don't laugh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, I was just texting my guy today for opening day. I'm like, I got to go to opening day. As much as I hate that bastard who owns my team, I hate him. And I don't want to give him any money, but I am sneaking in a plastic flask. So, you're not getting me on alcohol, you son of a bitch.
There you go.
Dude, great stuff, man. We'll talk soon again. I appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Right, guy, that's Evan Altman from CubsInsider.com, talking Cubs baseball. Again, I appreciate, man. I thank him. It was my mix-up. I put Friday as opposed to today. I don't know why. Because I copied and pasted it from something else, from another message I had for him. And it was Friday. What a dummy. But he was able to make time today. And, I appreciate it. The Cubs are playing Tokyo. It's exciting, man. If you're a Cub fan, just traveling around the world and different baseball, you saw the exhibition games that they had. And I think it's important when, because they're going to play different things. You got to understand the one thing about when you have experiences, take something from every experience. All right. Who knows? Maybe one of the pitchers sees something that some of the Japanese pitchers were doing. Okay, they want to incorporate it into their routine, or some of the hitters. All right, the one thing that you can't be ever is complacent. I don't care how good you get. You cannot be complacent, because that's when you never get better. You never stay the same, because if you do nothing, all the people are trained to get better than you. All right, you never stay the same. You either get better or you get worse. And when you're in a situation, when you're in a competition, a sport, you must learn from other people. You must take things and steal things from other people, because you don't do everything well or great. There's a lot of other people who do this better than you, or that better than you, or this better than you. And to fully round out your game, you want to add. Let me take this. See, they talk about when you steal things from people, it's called plagiarism. All right. If you steal from one person, it's plagiarism. If you steal from multiple people, it's called research. Okay. So we need both teams need to. But we're talking about the Cubs now because they're in Japan. You got a different type of game, a different player, different types of players. What do they do well? All right. Why did the Cubs lose the first couple of exhibition games? What were they doing well? Okay, that were able to get to the pitchers. Watch that. Watch film. Go back. Look at it. Are they how patient are they? Their swing. Are they the approach that they have? Watch all these things. All right, to become a better player. Again, you can always learn something from people. So hopefully the Cubs did, and the Cubs have a shot at the NL Central. All right, it should be wide open. And unfortunately for me, being a Sox fan, Cubs are they're probably the next team to win a division. Right? Maybe the Bears will this year, but I don't know if this division is kind of tough. The Bulls not happening. Blackhawks not happening. All right. So the Cubs might be the next team to win a division and get, make a deep playoff run. So we'll see. We will find out. All right. Listen, let's take one more break. All right. One more break. On the other side of the break, we'll wrap this thing up. Talk a little Bulls basketball. How about that? All right. Maybe we'll talk a little basketball in general. I'll go back to the tourney, talk about the women's number ones. All right. And then talk a little Bulls basketball. All right. We'll do that on the other side. So keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Brian Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
Holiday, the veteran, loose ball out to Terry. Terry moves past Van Vliet.
Again, well, you gave Fred Van Vliet a lot of money. And, he's getting up there in age. Nice move by Kobe White. Nice finish. But Reed Sheppard is going to be your future point guard. He's
already extended Green.
It's tough, though. Because he's a good move.
Kobe White unable to finish. Collins with a second chance and one.
Good, strong finish. Zach Collins. It all
Never
starts with Kobe.
glass.
Kobe came in with a nice move. He was able to slice and dice his way to the rim. Almost got it up. Watch. He's showing you a nice little step through. And then Zach Collins comes in. Offensive rebound. This is what I like about Zach Collins. And Zach Collins, he's just got to get stronger. Once he gets stronger, that's going to be automatic.
Herder picked the pocket of Van Vliet. Up ahead for Buzelis. Dunk number 50.
That was awesome. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Chicago Sports Network. Those were the Bullies, all right, coming in a tough loss to the Houston Rockets over the weekend. 117 and 114. You saw Boozy Vert, as Stacy has affectionately nicknamed him, Boozy Vert, with the dunk. Zach Collins. I am liking Zach Collins more and more and more by the day. Yeah. So Junior says, I have definitely lost touch with the Cubs when they went to Marquee. I couldn't watch anymore like I used to. Yeah. Is Marquee come on regular? Do you have cable? Is it come on regular cable, or do you have? Is it an extra? Is it an extra fee for Marquee? You guys, Cub fans, let me know what it is. If you have to pay an extra, like for Comcast, I don't know if I said hello to him, but my man King Booker World checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Thank you for coming, checking in, man. I appreciate you. So yeah, so the I wanted to talk a little baseball, a little basketball. All right, a little basketball, just because not a lot of Bears stuff going on right now, which is okay, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. We'll see. Let's talk about the women's. These are the number one seed. The women, they go 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have the East, West, Northwest, Southwest. The North. They don't have that. I don't know why. So in the Spokane 1 region, okay, UCLA is the number one seed. Actually, UCLA is the number one overall. They have the number one overall seed for this particular tournament. Down in the Spokane 4, USC. So you had Juju Watkins. You got Juju Watkins in that city. The Birmingham 2, you have South Carolina. Dawn Staley and the Lady Gamecocks. They're always as tough. They've won 2 titles in the last 5 years. And then down in Birmingham 3, all right, the Texas Lady Longhorns. All right, those are the 4 number 1 seeds. It's tough. UCLA, USC, they had a couple of crazy meetings, and they wouldn't meet until the Final 4. USC, UCLA, 2 Big Ten teams, Big Ten now, 2 Big Ten teams wouldn't meet until the Final 4. That would be tough. I would love to see, and a good friend of mine, big shout out to Bill Skywalker, good friend of mine from Holy Cross, from Chicago, but grew up in Michigan. Actually, he grew up with Derek Jeter in Michigan. Him and the Jeter family are really close. But I digress. He has a son who's a senior at Virginia, and he has a daughter who plays basketball in Virginia, and he has a daughter who's the Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of high school last year, and she's at Maryland. All right. I'd love to see I'd love to see the 4 powerhouse. Let's keep it a buck. All right, South Carolina, USC, UCLA, Texas. Those 4 in the Final 4 would be dope. But Maryland's number 4 in that bracket, in the Birmingham 2 with South Carolina. So they would have to get through South Carolina, in the regional semifinals. That would be a tough matchup. But I like to see some of I would love to see from my guy Bill to have his daughter, get to the Final Four. That'd be dope. Okay. It's tough because you got South Kakalaka. All right, and then you got Duke. If you got past South Carolina in the regional semifinals, the regional finals, you're probably gonna deal with Duke or North Carolina State, unless either of those two are upset. So it'll be tough. But it would be great for Juju Watkins to win. Okay. The one thing that I can always tell you, you can never count out UConn. They're number 2 in the Spokane 4 region. All right, they're in the same region as USC, Juju Watkins. So Cade Beckers, might have something to say about it. And then let's not forget. All right, you have Notre Dame. They're number 3 in the Birmingham 3 regional. All right, they're number 3, and they're in the Texas bracket. Who's Texas number 1? Number 2 is TCU. But Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame, it's a bad girl. So like one of those teams, if they upset, that'd be dope. I mean, because they have the big names. Texas doesn't have the big name. It's just a great team. I'd love to see USC, UCLA just because of the rivalry that they have. So they've been rivals in the Pac-12, or Pac-10, then the Pac-12. And then they come to the Big Ten, and they're rivals again, and they're facing each other in the Final Four. I think that would be dope. But again, UConn and Paige Beckers has something to say about it because, as I said, UConn's in the same bracket as USC. So USC may not get past UConn. Maybe UCLA, UConn. But I'd love to see and right now, here's the cool part about this. Is that now we're starting to see names. See, for a while it was programs. All right, it was UConn. It was Tennessee. Okay. And now you're starting to see names. And don't get me wrong, you had the Candace Parkers, you had the Rebecca Lobos, you had the Anna Taurasi's. Okay, but it was the programs that really had all the luster. Now you got names. You got Louisiana Tech, but, back when Angel Reese was there. We saw Juju Watkins last year just kind of go ham. Paige Beckers, all right, the craziness. Man, they're talking about hers. She could have come out last year. No. I think she would have been Paige Beckers. Is she a junior or does she have to come back? I'll see. Yeah, here we go. Oh, she's from Minnesota. Hopkins, Minnesota. Okay. She's a junior. She's 23 years old, so she's got to be at least a junior. Or maybe she's a senior. Wow. No, born 2001, October 20th. So she'll be 24. She's 23. It's crazy. She's been she's 5 years she was in there, starting in 2020, continued through in the 2025 season of eligibility because of an additional season of eligibility. Okay. Okay, in 21-22, she had a knee injury. 22-23, she tore ACL. In 23-24, her redshirt junior season. So, yeah, so she could have come out last year, but she wanted to stay. But what's cool is you're starting to see a lot more names, which I think is awesome in the women's sport. I really do. All right, it's not just programs. You don't worry about the Kim Mulkeys at LSU. You're not just worried about the UK, you still worry about the UConn. The Tennessee has kind of fallen off ever since Pat Summitt passed away. All right, but Dawn Staley has picked up that mantle. She's picked that mantle up with South Carolina. All right, but now you're starting to see the names, and I think that's important that you have stars. I remember growing up, there were always the blue bloods: Duke, Kentucky, all right, Kansas, all right, all Georgetown. Okay, those are some of the big names that we always knew were going to be in the dance. Okay, but then there were always teams that you had phenomenal players. All right, you had a Syracuse, you had Derek Coleman, Sherman Douglas, not Sherman Thomas, Sherman Douglas. All right, you had Wayman Tisdale at Oklahoma. Okay, you had these stars who didn't necessarily have great team. Maybe the team was great, but the program wasn't really renowned for being phenomenal. Now women's basketball started to do that same thing. You still have your programs that are blue bloods, but the more throughout the country, there are more teams that have that one big superstar. And I think that's important. I think that's important because it gets you looking at different places. Because otherwise, you're just going to follow the blue bloods. You're going to follow the Louisiana State because of Kim Mulkey and the UConns. Okay, and the South Carolina. You're just going to follow those programs because they give you the best players. But now the best players aren't always going to those schools. As basketball has evolved more and more, and the transfer portal has become a huge player in this game. The people like the boys in both basketball and football, the girls are like, I'm out. I'm going somewhere else. I get more I get more respect here. I get more NIL money. And it forces us to kind of look around. Okay, look around and follow the girls' game. Okay, because we fall like Hannah Hidalgo, all right, from Notre Dame. I love it. Like I haven't watched Notre Dame basketball, but for Hannah Hidalgo, man, I'd love to go see her. I'd love it. It'd be great. But I'm following Notre Dame because of Hannah Hidalgo. So I think it's a good thing for the women's game. And, you want to keep eyes on it. You want to keep that momentum rolling. You want to keep that momentum rolling that was started a couple of years ago, especially with Caitlin and Angel Reese going at it and talking shit. And I love it because they're friends. I love it. And people think they hate each other and they really don't, which is dope. They get it. They understand it. They're competitors. And that's that. So the Bullies, baby, my Bulls. The Bulls did something for the first time before they lost. They won 4 games in a row. That was nutso. 4 games in a row. For the first time in 2-3 years? Or did they say the pandemic? Bulls have now won 4 in a row, and it was crazy. They had it going. And I'm liking this, man. I'm liking this young team, and I know we're falling out of the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, and I'm okay with it. I don't care. I'd like to have them, but I like what I'm seeing. Zach Collins, I like what I'm seeing. Okay, what you do is you let this young team grow. All right, you let these young teams grow, keep adding youngsters, and then when this team grows, because you got Josh Giddey, Mr. Freaking triple-double. You got Kobe White. You got Ayo. Now you got Zach. You see what you're having in Zach Collins, and you're starting to see in Kevin Huerter. Okay, Dalen Terry is giving you great minutes. All right, Julian Phillips is giving you great minutes. Jaden Smith are giving you great minutes. Let these youngsters continue to grow, become familiar with each other, and then in a year or two, once we stop getting out of the playoff and play in and get into the playoffs, then maybe you add a big free agent splash. Okay, then maybe you add the big free agent into the mix of a team that's already familiar with each other and good. They just need someone great. Who that player is, I don't know. We don't know who's going to be available. We don't know who's going to want out of their current situation. But don't worry about that for another year or two. probably the 26-27 season. And going into that offseason, going into that season, maybe you could make a big trade, send a few picks over for a disgruntled superstar somewhere, and really put this Bulls team back on the map, back in the playoffs on a consistent basis. Not the play-in, the playoffs. Because all these guys will be hitting their stride. Mata still won't even be in his prime. Mata, 2 seasons, Matos will be 23. 23 years old. All right, Josh Giddey, the most likely going to extend him. He's going to be here for a while. Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, those guys that came over. I'm telling you, once Vooch gets they get Vooch off the books, you can start paying more people. Zach Collins, I am a big fan. I wasn't a believer. I wasn't a fan of his when the trade was made. But him and Josh Giddey have told me to shut your mouth. Know your role, Sierra. Shut your mouth. What they told me. That's what they told me. Jay Grizz in the house. What's up, Papa? Don't worry about it. Don't worry, baby. It's all good. I don't believe me. I understand. Life gets in the way, bro. Believe you me, Papa. I get it. Ant Mouse in the house. He's like, bear down, Shawn. Bear down. Jay Grizz, have you watched closely my boy Maluk? Yes, I have. I have watched him. I am liking that dude. You turn me on to him, Jay Grizz. Yes. Imagine pairing him and Zach Collins. Now you got people who can run the floor, who can protect the rim, who can score, who can pass. I like it. I like this kid. Good looking out, Papa. I appreciate you turning me on and making me, give me the heads up on old boy from Duke. But yeah, I was just saying that I think I like this young core that they have. I do. They're playing with pace, with intention. When everyone's running up and down the court, you're getting back on defense. You're pushing the ball in transition. All right, you're using the athleticism that you had. You've gotten younger and more athletic. Finally, the Bulls have gotten younger and more athletic, and I'm here for it. I'm all for it. Because they're playing an exciting brand of basketball. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. They may not win all the games, but I'll tell you what. They're fun to watch. They're entertaining. And remember, I didn't want to go to a Bulls game before. Now I want to go. I want to go before the season's out. I went to one of my buddy's outings. I may go to one more before the season's out, just because. Just because they're fun to watch. And people are getting involved, and a lot more people are getting involved. The ball movement on this team, the unselfishness of this team is one that I really enjoy. Not a lot of egos on this team right now. And that's a credit to Billy. That's a credit to the players. Understanding, check your ego at the door. Hanging on the coat rack before you go in the gym. Don't bring that mess in here, and they're not. They're playing like a team, and that's what you want. You want them to grow as a team. I don't see any dissension amongst this team. I don't see anyone big-headed. I don't see anyone who thinks they're better than anyone else. I don't see anyone who thinks they're the star. I see a whole bunch of people. You got it, King Booker World. I see a team moving as one. Okay, it doesn't mean they win all the games. Doesn't mean all the games are pretty. Doesn't mean they don't make mistakes. But guess what? They're all rowing the boat in the same direction. That's for damn sure. And when was the last time we were able to say that about a Bulls team? They're all rowing the boat in the same direction. Lord, they're not going in circles anymore. I think the confidence is, once Giddey got here and Zach Collins got here, Trey Jones, he's another dude. That's another dude who I had no idea was going to be this productive. I know the Bulls are really guard heavy. Going to have to go get some bigs. You have to lose some of your guards, but man, you're a damn fool, Jay Grizz. Said King Booker World moving as one with the bear down ashtray. Oh my goodness. Oh, damn, I told you I was going to do it and I left it over there. You don't even smoke. I'm telling you, I'm the biggest Bears fan. I got the Ridge wallet. Yeah. I'll make sure I have it here on Wednesday. I know I said I was going to have it today, but I forgot. I was running late. I was mad at the workout this morning. I wasn't a big fan of it. But he's like, damn right. But I'm really excited about this Bulls team and where they're going next year. I really am. I'm looking forward to some continuity. I'm looking forward to Matas Buzelas getting bigger. Jay Grizz, I almost crashed when I was rewatching this last Friday, King Book World. Be safe, bro. Maybe just listen. Don't watch it. Just listen to it. If you got the phone holder, just turn the video side the other way. Jay Grizz, King Booker World is a damn fool, man. You go out to any open comedy mics or anything, Booker World? Something. You may want to consider that shit. But I'm really falling a lot in love with this Bulls team. I just love the excitement, the energy, the youthfulness that they have. And Billy Donovan coaching them up. Billy coaching them up. Jalen Smith hitting threes, rebounding, playing defense, blocking a couple shots. Zach Collins. Man, they're doing it. And I didn't think they could play this well. God bless it, I was wrong. I love when I'm wrong about my teams, especially when I'm being negative about them. Because at some point, I don't even think I was wrong. I was on point with where they were at, but they made a decision. They made a decision to play better. They made a decision to stop fucking around. They made that decision. Every journey doesn't start with a first step. It starts with a decision. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to accomplish this. This Bulls team has made a decision. They don't want to be busters anymore. They don't want to be the laughing stock. And I don't care what the motivation is, whether it's money, whether it's rings, whether it's both, whether it's fame, whether it's girls. I don't care. I love the motivation that they have. Whatever the motivation is, keep it. I would like to say I hope it's legacy and trying to win titles, but whatever got you playing this way, continue it. Continue it. Because this Bulls team is fun as hell to watch. Fun as all get out. I can't tell you the last time I've said that about a Bulls team. Might have been the last year, Jimmy, Rondo, and D-Wade. Or do I have to go all the way back to the Derrick Rose era? Derrick, Joakim Noah, Luol Deng. Do I have to go back to that era? 10 years ago? Man, it's fun. It's really fun. And not a lot of Bear stuff. I'm okay. That's cool. Gave me a chance to kind of exhale, relax. Not a lot of Bear stuff. All right, the Bears are just kind of laying in the cut. Seen anyone else who's going to get cut? Any other cap casualties? They're down. They're down right now on their available salary cap, but that's fine. They have probably enough to sign their rookies, and that's it. And everybody's talking about, well, now we got to draft Ashton Jensen. I'm like, no, you don't. Continue to build that offensive line. Get a running back. If you want to get a running back high, I say the earliest you get the running back is with 41. The earliest. And even that might be a stretch for me. Solidify his offensive and defensive line. Because if you get Will Campbell, you get Kelvin Banks, you plug him in at the left tackle, and you got Braxton Jones a swing tackle, I think we're in good shape. You got Bill Murray. All right, you got Coleman Shelton. All these guys are backups. They're versatile now, and we got guys who play guards who play guards who are playing guards. We got tackles who are playing tackle. We got a center who's playing center. Not a guy who's guard center who is playing guard. Not a center guard who's playing guard. Not a guard tackle who's playing tackle. No, I got guys in their spots. And I'm happy to see that. So now what do we get? I say add another one. I say add another tackle for Braxton Jones to compete. And then in a year or two, you have to expend Tooney. You got to extend to get him an extra 2 years, which means you got to draft a guard next year. Or if you find one this year, was there one that was hurt? You could sign him. Hey, you know what? We want to bring you in as an undrafted free agent, or if we get him late in the 5th round, 6th round, something like that. Like Trey Jones came out a 5th round because he was hurt. Let's go get a stud who happened to be hurt. Come here. You sit a year behind Tooney and JonahJackson, a year or two, and then it's yours. Focus on the lines, offensive and defensive. Because when you do, it doesn't matter who you have running back. Doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong. If you have a special running back, it's going to matter big time. So I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. It only matters if you got a special running back. A lot of running backs are going to be able to eat and perform very well behind this offensive line. So make sure that we focus on the offensive line. Skill players are a dime a dozen, unless you're super special like Saquon. And that could be the missing link. Like I said, what if you set up on the offensive line and then another running back becomes a free agent who's a stud? You put him in this offense in a year or two, or 2 years probably. Now you're cooking with gas. Well, listen, 2 hours is come and gone. I want to thank my guests big time. I want to thank Evan Altman for coming on. I screwed up the day. He was supposed to come on. I asked him for Friday, and I meant today. He was able to find some time. I'm really appreciative of all the time that he gave me. Yeah. Really appreciate it. You should, dog. You should. Some people think Tyler Warren at 10 tight end. No. But anyway, guys, make sure you tune in today. I'll replay this at 6. At 12:15, we got Lakina and Sid, Second City Sports. If you missed yesterday, Lakina and Sid did a NCAA selection show, so make sure you go check that out. All right, like I always tell you folks, man, let your loved ones know you love them, okay? Make sure you send a text, something, dinner. I hit up my guy Manny last week. He was happy to hear from me. Taking my cousin out. She and I are going to lunch or going to dinner this week. So just get out there. Life moves fast, man. If you don't stop around and look, you just might miss it. Say, man, I meant to do this. I meant to do that. How many times have we said that? I meant to do this. I meant to do that. And really don't get done or meet up with people. All right. So do that. All right. I'll see you guys back on Wednesday. I'll have my Bear stuff, show you how big of a Bear fan I am. Well, for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Have a phenomenal day. It's going to be a little warmer today, 40-something. All right? Get out there, enjoy it if you can. Take a nice little walk. But again, make sure that you reach out to your loved ones. Let them know you love them. All right? For the SuperBack, I am